When reviewing the ever-new RTX 35, we needed something serious to tow with, so we asked GMSV and they threw us the keys to this LTZ 2500 heavy duty. Let's see how it goes. The 2500 is the biggest GM truck GMSV import and convert here in Australia. It's all about towing with a massive V8, huge wheels and brakes on a heavy duty chassis that can tow up to 5,650 kilos if upgraded with a few extras, or 4,500 kilos with just a 70mm tow ball. What gives it so much ability starts under the massive bonnet. Things get pretty serious under the bonnet of the 2500. It starts with a 6.6 litre Duramax turbo diesel V8 that pumps out 332 kilowatts and a frankly obscene 1,332 Newton meters of torque, which is almost double a new 300 series Land Cruiser. Now it needs all that grunt because of its tow specs. 2500 weighs nearly 4 tons. Let that sink in while you read the specs on the screen. No, the 12.5 ton gross combined mass is not a typo. It really is over 12 tons. But to be able to do that, the 2500 needs to be fitted with an aftermarket hitch and braking system, which will need to be certified. And that's why the 2500 has such a massive amount of power and torque. Over in the States, they do haul massive loads with these cars.
You'll notice the payload is a range. That's because a car licensed person cannot drive a vehicle with a GVM over 4,500 kilos, limiting the payload of the 2500 unless you have a truck license. If you carry a light truck license, you can order your 2500 HD with just under 1,400 kilos of payload. And with a truck license, you are less limited by GCM, meaning you can load up the 2500 with some gear and tow a big 4,500 kilo van without hassle. Just make sure you order it that way and make sure all drivers have the right license.
Like most American trucks, the 2500 comes with a host of towing tech like a factory brake controller, camera for hitching up, and even a trailer theft alert system, which honestly, I have no idea how it works. Other cool tech is Apple CarPlay and wireless phone charging, plus a powered tailgate and a cool trailer light testing profile. Down here is the brake controller. It's a little out of the way, being a converted vehicle from left-hand drive to right-hand drive, and right above it is a button you don't see on very many tow vehicles, an exhaust brake, and it works really well while towing. Now, this vehicle is marketed as a truck, and I think that's the right thing, as the inside does feel a little industrial. There are a few squeaks and rattles, and some of the surfaces are a little bit rough, sort of hard plastics and things. But it is surprisingly comfortable, especially driving long distances, and the ergonomics are spot on. There is a heap of room in the back seat. The over 2 meter width of the 2500 means you can actually sit 3 full-size adults across the back seat. There are a heap of charging options, the rear seats are even heated, and there are cup holders everywhere. If you plan to use them all, you and your crew are going to have to stop a lot. On the safety side, like most modern cars, the 2500 comes with a heap of collision avoidance technology like emergency braking and cross traffic alerts, which come in pretty handy for the overall size of the 2500. So that's the tech and specs, and soon the tow test. But first, what we are towing. This is an ever new RTX 35, a full-bodied off-roader that as it sits weighs about 2,800 kilos and when loaded can reach 3,500 kg. Can option the RTX 35 to 4,450 kilos fairly easily, which will make use of the 2500's factory limit and bump up the Caravan's payload substantially. It sits high on Cruisemaster ATX air suspension, which can be adjusted to suit conditions and its load, and it sits on quality Cooper AT3 all-terrains. Probably the coolest thing about the RTX 35 is that it's gasless. It has no LPG on board, which means less vents that will leak dust and less risk of issues with dangerous gas. If you want to see the full review of the Caravan, you'll find it in our channel and linked below. And if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It helps us make more. Now, on to the driving. So before we hitched up, I had the Silverado for a few days in town, and I got a chance to just get a feel for its fuel consumption and how to park it. Parking was a challenge, but fuel consumption was actually surprisingly not that bad. I saw around 15-16 litres per 100, which would give about a 900k range from the standard 138 litre tank. Now, since hitching up the Caravan behind us, fuel consumption's gone up to around about 25 litres per 100, which will give a range of about 600 k's, which actually not too bad. One of the things I really like about the Silverado is that when you put it in tow mode, a few parameters change. The gearbox will hold gear a little longer, and if you're using the exhaust brake, it'll brake really well when going down a hill. The mirrors will also slide out, which I think is brilliant, so you can see down the side of your trailer quite easily. And it will also change which camera comes on when you turn the indicator on. And in our case, when you're towing, it'll turn on the cameras in the mirrors to show your blind spot or the corner of your Caravan when you're turning. Fantastic if you're turning tight corners. Now, in terms of power, even though it weighs 3.7 tons, having 332 kilowatt and over 1200 newton meters of torque means that this thing will tow anything. The 3-ton Caravan behind us, no problem. We sat on cruise control on the way down from Melbourne down to our shooting location, and this thing was effortless. One thing that really stands out to me is the ergonomics. The seating position, where your armrests are, and the steering wheel, everything is just perfect for a long distance drive. I really don't think you'd find a better car for doing a long lap of Australia. The 2500 heavy duty does everything you need for a tow vehicle. It's exceptionally powerful, it's really comfortable, and it should be pretty reliable. What it misses though is that it's a bit big for our roads, and it's definitely too big for our tracks, and it is a sizable investment. Is it better than a 1500 or a Land Cruiser? It's very different. What you'll always have with a 2500 is the ability to tow anything in Australia.